Hi guys, good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you had a nice long weekend. You relaxed, you kind of unplugged from schoolwork, but here we go. We're back at it. Just wanted to create this video to kind of give you an overview of what this week looks like and where to find certain assignments, material, and how to go about navigating Google Classroom as well as completing your assignments on time. Okay, so again, I am just going to look at the pacing guide, which is shared with all of you. So we've already completed last week, so we don't have to worry about that. For this week, April 13th through the 17th, our reading assignment is to read Walk Two Moons, chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay? Again, the PDF and the link are posted in Google Classroom. Just to show you guys. It's right here. Online book for ELA, Walk Two Moons. Here's the link, as well as the Walk Two Moons print edition. That's a PDF, okay? So no, you don't have to be ordering it. You don't have to be Google searching it. It's all right here. Once you've read that, you have to continue completing your Sal and Phoebe's Journey journaling activity. Again, this is an ongoing assignment where you read and record after each reading. Please include the chapters and where the details come from. Okay, I've had some questions about this assignment. This is just jotting down important things that happen to Phoebe and important things that happen to Sal throughout the book, okay? It's just kind of a way to help with your understanding of the plot and as we go in the direction of how things, naturally progress within a story, okay? So it's just for your own sakes, okay? So make sure you're keeping those good notes. Again, that's also in Google Classroom. Right here, Sal and Phoebe's Journey. Again, this is ongoing. Okay, this is something that you fill out on your own. You can keep it in your Google Docs. You each have a copy. Okay, and lastly, we have for the week, once you have finished that, we have a narrative writing assignment. Okay, here are just some quick overview of the directions. I'm going to show you the assignment though in a moment. So, read the passage taken from the story Eddie, Meyer, and Spring. Answer comprehension questions. Review the rubric and what to include in the end of the narrative. Read through everything first before beginning. Here's my suggestion. Work on this daily. Chip away at the questions. Plan your writing. Edit and revise. Follow the process as this is what we would actually be doing in class, okay? We wouldn't just go at this assignment full force and expect that it's due at the end of the block. No, we'd be taking a whole week on this assignment, okay? So here we go. Here is your assignment that you will also find in Google Classroom. Again, the directions, read the following excerpt from the story Eddie, Meyer, and Spring, and then answer the questions to follow. Okay, this is not a whole story. This is taken from a story. Okay, this is an excerpt from the story. It's not too long. When you get to the end, you have a few comprehension questions that obviously relate to the story. The answers can be found back if you look in the story. Okay, main character, where, what's the mood? Okay, just some very basic questions. Okay, so part 2 of this assignment. The reason why this is an excerpt or a portion of the story that has been given to you is because, yep, you guessed it, you are going to be finishing the story. Your goal is to continue the story by describing what happens to Blake once he picks up the book and turns it over. Think about it. Does he stay in the library? Does he end up as a character in the book? What happens next? it is going to be up to you to decide what happens next to the main character. Some advice: be creative, yet stay in the idea of what and where Blake is. Okay, think of where he actually is. We don't want to completely switch settings and go to a totally alternative different place. Okay, try to stay in the realm of what the story is already about. From here, you're going to please review the rubric to understand what is required for this narrative writing assignment. Okay, this is going to seem like a lot to you. You really don't have to read through each one, but again, this is what Miss Brown and I will be using to grade your narrative. Okay, so our first rubric has to do with the idea development. Basically, what happens once he picks up the book, what happens next. Okay, we're going to be basing this on how creative of ideas that you give based on what happens next to the main character, where he goes, what happens to him, what the conflict is, and so on. Okay. The other rubric that we'll be grading you on, this has to do with basic English conventions. Okay, do you have a variety of sentences? Do you have control of your grammar? Proper mechanics? Do you use good punctuation? Things like that. Okay, so those are two rubrics that we're going to be using to grade you on. So this narrative can be typed and shared through Google Docs, or obviously handwritten and submitted. We will create a document for each of you to type on, so then you can submit your narrative to us through Google Classroom. Okay, so here's a famous question that I've received over the years when I've assigned this narrative writing. So the famous question is, well, how long do you want it to be? My answer: you're in 6th grade now. You're approaching 7th grade. So what does that even mean? Okay, I'm looking right here. At this point, you should understand what our expectations are for a writing assignment. No, a paragraph made up of 5 to 7 sentences isn't exactly acceptable for this assignment, but we're not asking you to write 5 to 7 pages either. If you thoroughly develop your ideas, your main conflict, and your resolution, you should have more than a page and a half. Should have more than a page and a half. Okay? If you don't, that's okay too, but I really would make sure that your overall ideas and your conflict and resolution are clearly stated. Here are some ways to score some extra points with this. You can include some dialogue with the character, express their thoughts, thinking. Maybe they speak to another character. You want to add another character. And also using examples of figurative language. You can look at the figurative language guide, okay? And hopefully last week's assignment helped you too with understanding what different types of figurative language are. Okay. Now this is totally optional. Okay, I added this in because, again, just like any good writer does, they want to organize their work first. So this is totally optional. It's to help you plan your writing. This does not need to be turned into either of us, okay? So again, just a basic narrative organizer to help you plan your writing. We have a character section, setting. Okay, we have a area where we can focus on creating a bigger conflict, more developed, following action, resolution, and so on. Okay. So again, just jumping back to the pacing guide. Again, this might seem like a lot, but what you really need to focus on right here, by 4:17, please make sure that you have read chapters 5 through 8. If you've done that, great, check it off. After you've read chapters 5 through 8, make sure that you complete the Sal and Phoebe journaling activity. Again, that's an ongoing assignment. You add to it. Also, 2 bullet points are fine. You don't have to include complete sentences. And then lastly, that you have your final copy of your narrative writing assignment submitted. Okay. One more piece of advice. for this assignment, okay? This is where the story ends, okay? It seemed to be, the excerpt ends. It seemed to be waiting for him to turn it over. When you begin your narrative, you might want to start with this sentence and then go from there, okay? I will create some examples going forward. You'll see them probably Tuesday or Wednesday, just to kind of help you figure out how to get started with this. But as always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Miss Brown and I at any time, okay? Go to it, guys. Good luck.